Hi everyone. In the film Manavta, you saw as to how a small child Krish gives away his tiffin box to a poor child sitting on the street as he was feeling very hungry. In a similar manner, many historic personalities, Sri Guru Tej Bahadur Ji, Sister Nivedita, Mahatma Gandhi, and Bhikaji Cama are role models of humanity for generations to come. So, today I will tell you the inspiring story of the great freedom fighter Madam Bhikaji Cama in today's session. So, this story commences in the year 1861 in the city of Bombay, when India was ruled by the British government. During this era, a daughter was born in a very affluent Parsi family residing in the city of Bombay, and the daughter was named Bhikaji by her parents. During that time, the influence of the Britishers and Western culture was very prevalent in most of the affluent families in Bombay. Because Bhikaji's father was very fond of Western culture, Bhikaji was admitted to a renowned school called Alexandria Girls' School to complete her education. Even though Bhikaji was brought up in an environment influenced by the Westerners, she was truly an Indian by heart. When an Indian citizen was exploited by any Britisher at any time, Bhikaji's heart would go out to him. Little Bhikaji wanted to grow up and to save the Indians from the Britishers' exploitation and help them having an independent life. In spite of being brought up in a rich family, her human values and sensitive nature never let her stay in peace. When she completed her education, she started contributing in social activities. But she was waiting for the right chance which would give her the opportunity to uplift people at large. But sadly, contrary to her views, Bhikaji got married at the young age of 24 to Rustamji Kama, a renowned personality residing in Bombay. Bhikaji's husband, Rustamji Kama, was also a supporter of Western culture and British rule. Rustamji Kama strongly felt that India can develop and flourish if Indians completely adopt the British government and their plans. But Bhikaji did not support her husband Rustamji Kama and his views. Come what may, she wanted her fellow Indians to live in a free and independent country. So this topic would many a times lead to a difference of opinion between Bhikaji Cama and her husband. And over a period of time, these differences increased to an extent that it also started affecting their personal lives. Bhikaji genuinely believed that the Britishers and the government together are cheating the Indians to destroy them. Making a person slave in their own country is against the value of humanity. That's why none of Rustamji's opinions and point of view could convince Bhikaji to support her husband on this sensitive and critical topic. Bhikaji wanted to save the Indians from the exploitation of Britishers, so she would often provide financial aid to Indian armed forces. In addition to this, at the end of the 18th century, when plague struck the Bombay city, Bhikaji Cama did not fear losing her life to such a dangerous epidemic and stepped ahead to work day in and day out to help the plague-struck victims. During the time when people were scared to go near each other, Bhikaji fearlessly helped the plague patients just like her own family. While looking after the plague-struck victims for long, she got infected by this epidemic. Even though she recovered from this illness, she had to move her base to Europe for further treatment on doctor's advice. After living in Europe for a few years, one day she got an opportunity to participate in the International Socialist Congress organization in Stuttgart in Germany. In those days, the representatives of the countries participating in the International Socialist Congress got opportunity to get their respective flags hoisted. But in case of India, British flag was hoisted. And Bhikaji detested this unfair practice that was practiced for long. Bhikaji collaborated with her colleagues and prepared the prestigious India's flag. So this is how, for the first time in this Congress, Indian flag was hoisted on international forum. And this flag had Vande Mataram written on it. And not only this, thereafter Bhikaji showed the Indian flag to the representatives of other countries who had come there. And she said in her speech that this is the real flag of my country. The three colors aptly represents the people of my country. Bhikaji Cama attracted everyone's attention to the acute problems India was facing and tried to convince them that continuing the British rule in India was against humanity and would lead to misery. The exploitation by Britishers sadly kept increasing. Even women and children were not spared from this torture. India and her fellow Indians across the country were going through unbearable times. At this forum, she spread the message of humanity in her thought-provoking speech. She appealed to the representatives of other countries to help India to fight for complete independence against the cruel British government. And she urged the fellow Indians to be extremely courageous, step ahead. This country is only and only belongs to the Indians. It was said that during this time, Bhikaji was arrested for provoking the Indian soldiers and for encouraging people at large participating in the freedom-related protests. And after this, Bhikaji was exiled due to these allegations to southern part of France. Every move of Bhikaji was carefully watched over by the British government even in a foreign country. It was difficult for Bhikaji to come back to India. Bhikaji Cama was sadly detained by the European government for several years. The British government gave her the permission to return to her own country when her health was deteriorated due to a sudden stroke of paralysis. Bhikaji wanted to spend the last days of her life amongst the fellow Indians. And year after her return to India, she breathed her last at the age of 75 after spending her entire life in fulfilling her duty of serving the people. In an era when it wasn't easy for a woman to step out of her home and face the world to bring about a change in a difficult time and situation, a woman like Bhikaji left her luxurious life and affluent lifestyle behind, spread the message of humanity in international locations, and had the courage to have the Indian flag hoisted. She supported and encouraged her fellow Indians and spread the message of humanity and kindness in the international forums. She never feared protesting the wrongdoings of the British government. Her courage and patriotism attracted the attention of the people across the globe. What can be a bigger example of humanity than this? I'm very sure that even you would follow the principles of humanity in your daily lives and inspire people at large and step ahead to work towards the betterment of the society and country. Thank you.